Have you ever noticed how certain guitar brands have developed a reputation? Some guitars just have a certain aura around them. Today we're talking about B.C Rich. I've never owned a B.C Rich. I don't even really know if I've played one beyond maybe when I was like 14 years old and some kid had one in the corner of his bedroom. But other than that, I don't really have an opinion on B.C Rich. I don't know, those pointy guitars that nobody really likes. They say they're not good, but I don't really know what they sound or feel like, to be honest with you. So today, we're gonna find out if B.C Rich is actually decent. Or even good. Of course, when B.C Rich started out in the 70s, they were known for their bold designs and high quality craftsmanship, but as with many great business ventures, quantity became to overwhelm quality. By the late 90s, the brand had sort of shifted from boutique to flooding the market with, let's just call them not great guitars, and it totally damaged their reputation. The materials they were using were just not great, but I think that's what made the brand sort of become more associated with image rather than substance. You know, they still had the pointy edges, but what was underneath those edges was flimsy and not well received, especially when other brands, competitors if you will, were making much more higher quality instruments for less of a cost. So overall, B.C Rich kind of fumbled the bag, but we'll find out what made them special in the meantime. I mean, these guitars look like weapons. Too pointy, too edgy, too Hot Topic circa 2008. And I want to know, do you think B.C Rich guitars suck, or are they simply misunderstood? Drop your heated comments or your poetic waxings, or maybe your just surprisingly good opinions in the comments below. So in order for me to figure out if B.C Rich guitars actually suck, I need to get one. But the question is, which one? I turned to the highest authority of gear wisdom on the internet, Reddit. According to them and all my research, one model kept coming up over and over again. The Warlock. Dave Mustaine, Kerry King of Slayer, Mick Mars of Motley Crue, Chuck Schuldiner of Death. And what does the common public think of B.C Rich today? Well, I found this hilarious review from David B. The B.C Rich Warlock is American marketing at its finest. Overall, this is a mediocre guitar. However, when you play one, something dark and menacing places you under its spell. Nothing captures the pageantry and excess of 80s metal quite like the Warlock. That is one darn tootin' good review, I will say, Mr. David B, and it's convinced me that the Warlock is the right choice to represent B.C Rich as a whole. But I'm gonna go based on my gut instinct, and whether or not any of these B.C Riches, because I'm gonna have to get a used one, I just don't want a chipped horn. That's the one thing I find with all these guitars, these pointy guitars. The best part of them, the pointy parts, are always damaged when you try to find these used. People have no self-respect, no dignity for their horns. That may add to the lore of why people hate these guitars, but we'll see. This isn't a sponsored video, by the way. This is all out of my own pocket. Gesture of free will and good faith towards my fellow B.C Rich enthusiast. All right, we're hunting a Warlock. First off with my local haunts. Carter Vintage Guitars, nothing. Rumble Seat Music, no. Groon Guitars? Nada. Yeah, shocker, no B.C Rich guitars hanging in between the 59 Les Pauls and the pre-CBS Stratocasters. Can't find any here in Nashville. My local Guitar Center, which is usually fully stocked, nope. Not even in their used section. eBay has some, but they're either like collector level crazy, or they look like they were dragged through a Monster Energy drink. And the thing I do like about metal guitar brands like B.C Rich, Dean, LTD, ESP, whatever, these are always the highest potential for having cool artwork on them for absolutely no reason. Why is Jaws on my guitar? I don't know, it's cool though. The new B.C Riches as well, a lot of them look kind of like normal guitars. I need something pointy, but I also don't want something crazy and weird. I need something classically pointy. So we're going with the Warlock. And they don't really make new Warlocks anymore. At least they're not selling them on major websites. At least the price point I'm going for. As you can see here, we got some Warlock options, and I'm going for black. I would like just, again, classic black Warlock. 1,800 bucks. The price ranges on B.C Rich, it's just like, depending on what era it is. A Rich Bitch, which I believe Dave Mustaine used to play the Rich Bitches. This is just not a cool shape. I don't like that. Now we got to check the corners, the horns, the pointy edges. Oh, what do you know? Right there, the first freaking picture is a dinged point. Let's check the horn for damage. Oh, well, I don't see anything terrible right there. Oh, what is that, green? How is that green? Oh my goodness. I mean, this is the one that I want. Almost $2,000 for a B.C Rich. There's no better option? Is this the problem with B.C Rich? They don't know how to price their guitars properly? I mean, that's some nice clean hornage. Floyd looks good. A little ding there. I don't really care about the headstock too much. The horns are clean. This is an 86 for 680 bucks. Is it because of the artwork on the front that I still can't really tell what that is? What is that? Can you tell what this is? Is this Stranger Things? Is this a Stranger Things Warlock? Why does it say 1986 but 2002? These are confusing descriptions. I've heard the Bronze series is absolute garbage, so we're gonna avoid that. Price kind of speaks for itself there, I think. But the thing is, these days you can get 250, 300 bucks for a really good guitar, let's say 500. So I think B.C Rich is lacking in their entry-level guitar. I also think the Kerry King, anything Kerry King related, I'm going to avoid. Now here we got a Japanese 1985, and let's see the horn damage. Whoa, that's an interesting headstock. I didn't know that was the headstock for 1985. And that's really it for like the budget that I'm going for. Again, I don't want to go over $1,000 for a used B.C Rich. It's just, I don't think so. I don't think that's where the value is. I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with the market or whatever their pricing is, but especially used and with all the horn chips I'm contending with, this sort of seems like a no-brainer, this red one. What am I missing here? Why is this priced so well? Vintage 80s Platinum Series Warlock? So Platinum Series, is that not NJ? I mean, I can't find anything online though. It's like all their records have been destroyed or something. I'm finding that maybe anything labeled bronze or platinum as far as the series goes is an indicator of lower quality. You can see right there, made in Korea. So platinum, bronze, I think those are like Indonesia, Korea, some different imports. We're looking for ideally Japan, $1,000. It's blue, it's not quite black. Horn damages, seems all right. Again, that 85, or 84 I guess, so 84, 85. So as you can see here, 1986 is a different kind of headstock for this NJ model. It's so interesting like trying to find any information on B.C Rich. There's like a huge gap on the internet. Been looking at a lot of pointy guitars, I'm starting to lose my mind. I got this at a trade last year, but my tastes have gone more towards a Les Paul. That's a pretty big pivot there. Made in 1986, first year the NJs were made in Korea. Gonna go 85 or earlier just because that's when they were actually made in Japan and not moved to Korea, I believe. So this one is sort of calling my name. It's growing on me. I can't speak because I like it. I also like this one, but it's 1986. As you can see, the headstock's different. Let me find a picture. The headstock is different than 85, which is like this, and this is how, at least I can tell that it's made in Japan versus made in Korea. I don't know, maybe the first year in Korea was alright for the NJs, but do I risk it? Do I risk? I mean, this is a really good looking guitar. It's about the same price, but it's in Virginia Beach as opposed to Halifax, Canada. So I don't know how much longer that'll add to the shipping. Maybe not much at all. But this is a clean example, and I don't think I'm gonna get a better price for something so clean with my demands for no horn damage. Man, this is a toss-up. I wish I could have you vote in real time, but I gotta film and make this. Actually, I guess I do have this supercomputer. I'm gonna throw a poll up on Instagram. Follow me there and let me know if you voted in the YouTube comments. You're gonna find out what it is and if B.C Rich, the guitar brand, sucks or not. Alright, it's a couple weeks later. I got the guitar. I've got to say, this is a first for me. I've been buying guitars online for a long time. Never had somebody ship it to me in 2 pieces. Apparently our seller wanted to protect the neck. I guess I appreciate it. He custom built this box to ship it in. These tariffs are killing us. We gotta ship our guitars in pieces. But anyway, I guess everything's fine. I gotta take it out and make sure. I don't know what that sound is. This is supposed to be the body. What would be making that noise on the body? I'm skeptical, suspicious, and slightly alarmed. This Canadian tape is sticky. Did they use molasses? Okay, I think it was a whammy bar. We're safe what that clanging noise was. It's well packed. I think this is gonna be fine. Oh, look at this. Even got some foam on the horns there. Are these like custom B.C Rich foam shipping points? I have no anxiety about this shipment anymore. This is awesome. I'm glad I turned on the cameras for this. Looks freaking good to me. Let's grab the neck. Now I'm not nervous at all. I'm actually excited to see what this person has created as far as a neck shipment compartment. Said he built it out of wood? Tone wood? This is crazy. How am I gonna get these staples open? Like, how am I getting this neck out of here? It's like some video game relic I have to free up. No, seriously, how do I get this out? Oh, there's screws. Just gotta get a drill gun. I guess I'm gonna need it to put the neck on anyway. Wow. Awesome, dude. That is secure. It honestly looks even better than it did in the pictures. Maybe I'm just excited. Whoever thought I would be this excited about a B.C Rich? But yeah, I'm gonna have to get it restrung, and every horn is accounted for, baby! Yeah. This here just looks a tiny bit dusty. There you go. That's just elegant. A bit of a dusty body there. Dust her off a little bit. Hasn't been touched since 1984. There you are. Real sweet pair of EMG pickups in here. I mean, look at these horns. Undamaged and perfect. I wore a lighter outfit just to contrast the guitar because it is dark, midnight blue. Perfectly set up when I put the guitar together. It's the beauty of this Kaler bridge, which is in mint condition, I have to say. All the fine tuners work perfectly, and just a magnificent specimen if I say so myself. I'm gonna go more in depth on this guitar in a future video, following up on 5 guitars you think are good, but they're not. You know that video? Well, 5 guitars you think are bad, but they're not. Something tells me this B.C Rich brand is gonna make the list. I gotta say, first impressions of this thing, freaking awesome. Why is everybody hating on B.C Rich? Don't you realize you just have to get a 1984 made in Japan Warlock? It's that simple.